He was a walking double-double in high school and parlayed a successful stint at John Wood Community College into a college basketball scholarship to Alabama Huntsville. But it is beyond the court that Will Carr has made his biggest splash, a free spirit with entrepreneurial spirit who has made himself an incredible success with startup companies in the realms of both nutrition and supplements. And be forewarned, just fair warning everybody, there will be no video of Will dancing in various states of undress in this Tri-State Triumphs.
Tri-State Triumphs, sponsored by Good Samaritan Home of Quincy.
Yeah, it's like every day, it seems, I have problems that come up. Some days I have bigger problems than others. But that's what's fun for me. Like, that's the adrenaline of it, Like, it's the same thing in, like, sports. When you're playing basketball and you're competing, you have that game day that you get to work for. And the cool thing about business is, although I wouldn't say every day is like game day, you get a lot of days that are like game day when you just have, like with what recently happened with my Amazon brand and losing all that inventory. It was just like a punch in the face. But at the end of the day, that's what I live for. Like, that's what excites me, is that I am even in a position where I get to solve problems like that.
These successful CBD and nutritional companies that are incorporating this technology are really finding resonance with people, not just in terms of financial success, but changing people's lives for the better. Are you blown away by how far this industry has kind of warped in terms of the American consciousness, Will?
The difference between the industry just over the last 2.5 years compared to now, it's insane. And so much of it has to do with, cannabis all gets thrown into one batch. And for so long, it's wild that, during the First World War, hemp was grown. Like, you were required to grow hemp, industrial hemp, in order to make ropes and clothing and all these different textiles. And so, people don't realize even how much, like, George Washington grew hemp on his farm. Like, hemp is such a foundational piece of the founding of America. But when the war on drugs started, industrial hemp got thrown into the same bundle as marijuana, and it was just completely ostracized, and everyone was told how bad this is. You had these ridiculous movies like Reefer Madness, and it was all propaganda. And so what's been super cool over the last few years is to see this real shift in consumer consciousness, like you're saying, from thinking, oh, marijuana, cannabis, that's terrible, to, wow, there's actually benefits here. There's good things here. There's over 150 different cannabinoids in the hemp plant, and they're just beginning to discover what they all do and how they can all help people. And it's about 10% of medical schools that even teach that we have an endocannabinoid system in our body, that, we have our endocannabinoid system in our body. Our body naturally produces cannabinoids. And we have these CB1 and CB2 receptors that when we externally take cannabinoids, such as CBD, they can attach and they can do a variety of things. And it's also kind of what's confusing about CBD, because people be like, well, how can it help from everything from Crohn's disease to anti-inflammation to making me have a better mood, whatever. And the answer to that, though, is the endocannabinoid system being so directly correlated to your nervous system that it touches on almost every aspect of your body.
I think in some ways, wasn't it good for you figuring out who you were, not just beyond basketball, sort of beyond the parameters of regular regimented life?
People just don't trust themselves to be able to make decisions where 99% of the population would say, what the hell are you doing? But if that's what I'm feeling called to do, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. And so, I definitely identified with myself as a basketball player for a long time. And that's what I had as like, what was my sense of value. I was like, I'm a smart kid and I'm big and I play basketball, and that's what makes me cool. And that's what makes people like me, and it's like, but really getting to that point of understanding of like, no, I love myself because I wake up every morning loving the decisions that I make. I love the life that I've created around me. And, It has nothing to do with anything that I even do. I don't, it's like I'll get on a show like this and be like, yeah, I'm a entrepreneur, father, and adventurer. But I really, and I use those words because I think they describe like how I am and how I live my life. But I don't identify with that either. I'm Will Carr, and I'm this person who loves people and loves everyone deeply, and I care about everyone. And I just want to do my part in making the world a better place.
And you can view the entirety of our fascinating and wide-ranging conversation with entrepreneur Will Carr online now at KHQA.com. I do have one bit of high school football news to pass along on this Sunday. Less than a week away from the season opener, Monroe City suddenly finds itself with a new Week 1 opponent. The Panthers had been slated to play powerhouse Pius X in Festus, Missouri, but a spike in COVID-19 cases in Jefferson County caused Monroe City's administration, on the guidance of the health department, to pull the plug on that trip. Instead, the Panthers will travel to Mocaine, Missouri, and face the South Callaway squad, which this week, coincidentally enough, had lost its season opener as well as a result of that positive COVID-19 test at Mark Twain and the Tigers' subsequent quarantine. So again, Monroe City versus South Callaway at South Callaway on Friday. A quick, short week of change preparations for David Kirby's team, but welcome to the world of high school football amid a global pandemic.